Okay, selfie video here. I'm going to show you how to trim a bottle form, which is different than other forms because, let me show you these bottles. Sometimes they can get a little more severe where you can't put them upside down and trust that this neck is going to hold, or sometimes even more severe and they won't even balance. So you need something to support it. Some bottle forms, like this one, I think I could get away putting on the wheel because it has a wider neck here, so it could actually fit on your wheel, and you could be safe. I would use really big chucks, big pieces of clay here to hold in place, so it goes up and actually hits the shoulder of the pot and hold it better. It's still a lot of stress, I think, for the neck here. So anyway, but I think I'll use the chuck since I haven't shown you how to use that yet. So why don't I go ahead and do that? Let's record one of them. Let's see, first of all, before I put it on the wheel, I want to see how it fits. This is good. So I want it to be supported so it doesn't hit the wheel head. Yeah, it's still above the wheel head. All the stress now is on the shoulder of the pot or on the body of it somewhere. We have a bunch of these of different sizes. These are bisque fired, and we have them underneath the wedging table over there. You can also make what's called a living chuck. You make one of these out of raw clay. You throw one and you leave it really thick, and then what you do is you go all the way down the wheel head, so it looks just like this. You're making a real thick cylinder, thicker than this even, and it's called live chuck because it's not fired. You keep on the wheel, go all the way down, make it thick, about that thick almost, like an inch or two, and then I put wet paper toweling over the top of it, punch a hole through it. The wet paper toweling allows this thing to stick on here without getting a bunch of clay on it. So it doesn't stick to the clay, it just sticks to the wet paper towel and stays there. And the cool thing about a wet or living chuck, a wet one, unfired, is that you can change the shape of it. So you can make bottle forms. You could have 100 of them, all different shapes and sizes, and then you can recalibrate that, just rethrow it to the size of the bottle that you're using. Does that make sense? So that's kind of cool. But we have these ones ready-made. I just use the ready-made ones because we have a bunch of different sizes, and in general we have enough variety over there to cater to whatever size bottle you have. Okay, so I got to get this thing centered first. There are concentric circles here that can help you. And now you can't mark it with your needle tool to see when it's out. It's a tiny bit out. I mean, I could maybe take some water and go and mark it where it's sticking out, and then push that to center a little bit, so you could do it that way. That's pretty close. And I want to go on the inside part. I'm just going to tap it. It's not moving much. Here we go. I can work with that. Lots of clay. Don't skimp on the clay. You might need, can I borrow your sponge? Yeah. Thanks a lot. Hang on. That's fine. I don't care. Okay, so I'm going to get this a tiny bit wet in the wheel. Sometimes, and also the chuck here, sometimes the clay doesn't stick very well unless you have a little water there. So hold this down so it doesn't go running away on you as you're pushed down. I'm glad I wore a nice shirt today. This is okay. Now, I'm also going to put this pot in, but I'm going to wet the chuck first. This will help it stick. If it's dry, it kind of tends to not stay very well. So anyway, I can put this in. Now, it could go, I mean, you can get it crooked. You want to get it so it's not crooked. And that's where you need your needle tool, which I have right here. Oh, I have my own sponge. But anyway, I'll still borrow this. Anyway, so I can take my needle now, and just like I was trimming, like centering on the wheel, I can hit it where it's, boom, where it's a little bit sticking out, and then I move that. It's going to be kind of rotating a little bit away from me because that was sticking out there. It wasn't much though. That I can live with. I also fill it up here to make sure it feels level, and it feels pretty good. Maybe I'll make another mark. Let's see. Oh. Let's see how that works. Good. That's good. So now I'm going to kind of coax it to stick in there. So I'm just gently pushing it down on the shoulder. Okay. Some people even jam a little clay in there. It works okay, but could work better. Now, when I'm on a chuck like this, I always make a little hole in the middle since it's a little bit, kind of on wobbly terms, I'm normally like this with my needle tool. My arms are in here. I've got two hands close to the top here. What I'm gonna do now is hold it also here. So I'll hold it with the finger, just gently, and then one on here. Start cleaning it up. I can't be quite as aggressive as I am when it's on the wheel head, just because it can be a little bit wobbly. So again, I'm pushing down on that. And I remember when I threw this, how wide my base was. I can use a bigger one here. Again, this larger loop tool, wire tool, or actually trimming tool, whatever you want to call it, ribbon tool, some people call it, can hit sort of larger areas and smooth things out. And I can listen to how thick it is at the bottom. Pretty thin already, so I'm just gonna take off a little bit. You wanna make sure there's no Bozo the Clown effect where it's bowing up like this and you turn it over and it doesn't sit still. So I wanna have the inside part just a little bit lower than the outside part. So I'll take a little bit off. Again, I don't push down. I make a little hole with a corner, drag it sideways. That feels pretty good, and it feels like it's getting thin. I make it, smooth it out right here so it doesn't scratch tables and stuff like that. I can sand it afterwards also. A little light sanding can make this as smooth as a baby's behind when you're done. I mean, after firing. Okay, let's see how it feels. Pretty good, I like it. Now, if you have a tugboat thing and it just feels extremely heavy, you can start out by, and you can tell that the weight's kind of more up in here, like you just didn't thin it out very well. Again, you're trying to make the inside match the outside shape. You can put it on here like this, right side up. You can either put a little water on here, just go until it sticks, and it will stick, and then start trimming. Just have your hand here to catch it in case. So you can trim this whole area if you want to do that first before turning it over and doing the bottom. Okay. So that's how I would do a bottle form.